When did you first start in the music game? How old were you and what was the story behind it?
Well, I would say I started in the music game when I was 13 and a half, professionally. That was the first time when I played for the silent pictures. And I played for a fortnight in the silent pictures at that time. But that was the beginning of it. But after that, 6 months later after that, I did that, the talkies came in. So that meant that what I intended to do, playing in the silent pictures, that was finished. So I decided then, all right, well, I'll go around, but I soon got a reputation in the western suburbs, Footscray, Williamstown way, and people heard about me as far as the violin's concerned, and I was, well, not in demand, but I was wanted in those times because music was a very, very important thing. There was nothing else, no wireless, no technical things like that. But in the interim period, all those people rang me. So I was playing for this one, playing for that one, and different things until after a while I found that I was getting a little bit tired of that. And reason was that I found that I was playing for people, with people, that really did not have as much, I'm not saying myself, but their work wasn't very high rating, and it was a little bit harsh for me. Give you an instance of that, and it's a really funny one, because there was this lady that ran a Saturday night dance at the Mechanics Hall, Williamstown, and she also played the piano. So she put on a dance for all her pupils and that for the Saturday night, every Saturday night. So she heard about me, so she rang me and asked me what I'd play. So I said, oh, all right, I haven't got anything permanent, so I started. And the first night that she played and I played, and she thanked me, she said, that's lovely. She said, would you do it every Saturday night for me? And I thought, oh, well, okay. At that time I was ambitious. I thought, I'll put the money in the bank. I'll be better off later on. So I said, all right. The second night I went down and everything was all right, but 2 or 3 dancing, and all of a sudden something happened to me. I thought, what's wrong? You know, and I thought, I checked my violin, what I was playing. I was right. I was in tune with the piano. But I suddenly realised what was happening. She started to sing, and she couldn't sing in tune. She was singing out of tune and playing the piano in tune. And I was playing the violin with the piano in tune, and in my eardrums was going these songs when she was singing. So it put me right off. The music has given me my age of 90 years of age now, the music, because my job wasn't easy. I had difficulties and I had problems come up all the time. And when you finished work and got home, and I learned how to change into a dinner suit and have something to eat in 7 minutes, because we were so busy after getting home here. And the reason for that was that when I come home and I changed, I'd settle down a bit. But still those problems were up here. But when I went out and played the first tune, whether it was on the saxophone or the violin, nothing was up there to give me any worry. From then on, my brain was an absolute change. Absolute change. And that's what I say when they're coming back on the papers now and they're talking about this stress. I think myself, they should be talking about it. But it's, how can I get over it? That's somebody else's problem, not mine.
Do you think that people don't appreciate all the music now and dancing as much as they used to, or is it just different?
Oh no, they're just different. They don't appreciate it. Well, how shall I put it? They don't have to appreciate it. It's not presented in such a way that they can appreciate it. I'll tell you a little story. We were playing down in South Melbourne Town Hall one night, and at that stage the violin, that was out. That wasn't modern. Brass, saxophones and trumpets, that was the thing that the young fellas wanted. I hope you're listening. And we played, and I was taking the things in, I took one lot in, and then the second lot I come back to the car to take the second lot. I've always had a lot of luggage sort of, and I carried one of the violins under my arm. And there was a group of 4 to 6 teenagers talking in the hall before the dance started. And all of a sudden a male voice, I didn't picture which one it was, I didn't hear which one it was, he said, oh, take a look at that. This is going to be a bugger of a night with the violin. Anyway, later on we played at about 10 o'clock. This particular chap come up to the stage and he said, listen, sir, he said, can you play a bit more of that violin? I said, yes. I said, I wasn't going to. He said, why? I said, because I passed a party and you were one of the party, and I said, you made a remark that it was going to be a terrible night when you seen the violin. So I thought, well, you don't like violins, I wasn't going to play it. He said, oh, no. We said, we've changed our minds. He says,
there you are. It's a nice story. And how, what's it like for you when you get up on stage and you start to play the violin or you start to play the saxophone? What do you feel when you do that?
Feel very good.
See the audience, or when you see the people who are dancing,
yeah.
What do you see when the music starts, when you look out at the sea of people?
Gratification and satisfaction. Grateful that they're all, and when you look and you see 300, 400 people, and all shoulders and arms and heads and legs are moving as one, and you see it round the hall, it's fascinating and it's good. But the most important thing, I can, over the years of running and playing for these things, same as I had to watch for the exhibition dancers, when we had to play for them when there was no tapes to dance to like they do today. You had to watch them and you could tell whether they were comfortable. And if it was too fast, you brought it back a bit. If it was too slow, you brought it up a little bit. But they didn't have to sort of signal that it's too quick or anything like that. But that's the thing. But the other thing is the fact that it is, my own summing up of it is the fact that if you're too quick for ballroom dancing, and the people are mature, not young, and haven't got as much energy, they can become very tired by about 10 o'clock
yes,
or 11 o'clock. Yes, you've just got to be
careful,
They're
that's
looking for a place to see.
And do you think it washes away the worries? When you look out at these people, do you see their faces change and their...
Oh, yes.
What do you see that way? Do you see happiness, or what do you see?
Happiness would be a word, but they're having, within yourself, that they're happy and satisfied. The music's good, and even the people sitting down. I have people who've come to the Hawthorn Town Hall over the last 3 or 4 years, and one couple have come there. They haven't been able to dance. Whether they could dance in their young days, I never ever found that out. But they sat down on the side, and cold nights they just put a rug over their knees and they just listened to the band and the music all night. But it was interesting from this point of view that we played 70 different numbers each night, and the numbers we played the week before, they would not be heard again for another 14 weeks. We had over 3,000 numbers that we played, so the people never got tired of hearing the same number.
Gosh, tell me, how many years have you been playing in the band for now?
74. 74 years I've been running the band. And Saturday night will be the end.
How will that be for you?
No good at all. No good at all.
Be a sad day.
Music's kept me alive. It's given me activity. Being more or less in a situation here, when you've got something like when I run the dance at Wednesday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I had something every day that I was doing towards running the dance Wednesday night. Just might have been buying tea bags or coffee or something for the kitchen, or programming or something like that, and checking that the band's all right, working out the change for the ticket box and so forth. I had something Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Since I finished on the 13th of October, I've walked around this place lost. And those 3 days I've had nothing. This is what I've got to face up to. I've already made my plans what I'm going to do. I'll be selling the saxophones immediately after Saturday night, and I'll be selling the PA equipment of equipment that I have and have already run for the last 25 years.
It's heartbreaking though, isn't it?
I don't want to face up to it. It's not a good thing, but as I say, it's the first number you play. First number you play. There's nothing else in your mind but the music. And when you have a group of musicians that almost have, we've made mistakes. And when you've got good musicians at the back of you, I've made it myself. I've said that I will play so-and-so and started a number, then I've started on a different number. And those musicians have picked it up straight away and changed to the number I've made a mistake about. Another time...
But I suppose I suppose on Saturday night, you'll have to remind yourself and remember that the joy that you've given to thousands of people over the years. And that's a nice thing too.
That's true. But I don't know. My makeup, I don't look for publicity. I don't look for, or how shall I say, I can just say within myself, I have been in the public eye, I think, as much as any person in Australia. But it hasn't affected me because, I mean, we were taught when we learnt and when music was the only thing, I know that I would play out at the ball and I'd come home at 2 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't get into the front room where the gas fire was, turned it on. And an old little crystal set was there and you'd get the cat's whiskers and I would think it was absolutely marvellous to think that the sound and voice was coming through the air. To me, it was absolutely something out of this world. But today, unfortunately, nobody has a chance of anything like that happening to them because it's all been devised. Technicalities are so much, you know.
That's right. Things. Can you ever remember a Saturday night when you weren't playing in the band?
Ooh. Yes. We played at Box Hill Town Hall every Saturday night for 17.5 years. And the council had, well, they were determined on this particular, but they had 3 Saturday nights a year that the hall was lit for a flower show for the Horticultural Society. And they had their flower show on 3 nights a year, 3 Saturdays. That's all we had off. And after a while, I don't know how the football club, the Box Hill Football Club it was run for, the benefit of it, they decided it was a not a thing to have the band every Saturday night, then the fellas playing in the band, as they call it, not earn any money for 3 nights out of it. So they decided to play the band every night they had a night off, they got paid.
Well, over the 74 years, there wouldn't have been that many nights that you had off on the weekend, would there? So what would you say to me? Would you say you played most of the Saturday night for 74 years? What would you say?
Well, up till the... we played one night a month the last 83. I would say up to 80. That would be about... yes, every Saturday night I would say for over 60 years, to make it true, to make it exact. But...
what will you be doing now on the Saturday nights?
Nothing. I'm sorry that Hey Hey Saturday's finished, because that was on Saturday. Last Saturday night was brilliant. And I enjoyed Channel 7 last night with, they put on a Mike Walsh.
Yes.
All the back shows, and I enjoyed that. But that's all I'll be doing.
Yeah.
I might just think of going out, but I mean, well, as I say, it's best if you go out in company, I'll put it that way.
That's right, and you've got happy memories, marvellous memories, haven't you? Just sharing them with us today.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, I had the job, because of the position I held in the daytime and then playing music at night. It was very difficult for me to get I got an invitation, always got them one after another. Will you come out and see us? We have dinner with us next Sunday. I had to turn it down because probably that Sunday I was leaving at 4 o'clock to go to Summer Marine to
You've met some marvellous people, haven't you, through your work?
Oh, look, wonderful. One instance, when I was in Tasmania, I was 12 years, and that was during the war, so they wouldn't let me do anything else but music. And the work I was doing in Hobart, manpower was in control of you, and you never had to say where you went, what you done. So anyway, that particular time, that was when Jack Davey and Bob Dyer come to Tasmania, and I had a 15-piece band and toured the island for 10 days with those people. And that's the sort of thing that it was getting away from just straight ballroom dancing.
That's right.
And I had other functions too.
Could I ask you though, would you look at people and would you say that on the whole that people are good overall?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no question about that. But I think that's one of those, people might get the wrong idea when they hear this interview, that it's not malicious or anything like that. I'll put it one word, unfortunate, I think. But I think that the teenagers of today, Ben might say this is right and this is wrong, but the teenagers today have so much put before them, entertainment-wise and music and that sort of thing, a different sphere altogether, that I don't think they have the opportunity to blend in like we used to when we were teenagers. I think that's sort of opportunity is not there for them. I don't blame them because they have, I don't know, how should I put it? All right, there's a group of friends, 5 or 6, and girls and boys or something, and you get some of them like something, and they all sort of develop that sort of thing. I don't think myself it's their own particular sphere that they'd like to follow or something like that is presented to them the same as what we had. All right, you had to have a day job. There was no future for you.
That's right, exactly. How sad is it that there aren't the numbers now in the old time dancing?
Very sad indeed, because you'll find articles come in the paper and interviews being taking place now of people from the homes and that. You'll see one just in the paper a few days back of a group of people enjoying their dance at one of the elderly people's homes. They know that, and that's what in their days we called it contact dancing. That contact dancing, to me, was far more important than the present dancing that you get to a club and a hotel and you're just swinging your arms and just looking at the person and so forth. There's no conversation. There's no music. There's no rhythm or activities to give them a little bit of
intimacy and also a bit of contact. That's right. Yeah. That's right.
But we used to call it contact dancing, but that contact dancing always led on to something better. Let's face it. Don't look at me like that, Belinda.
Can I ask you, on Saturday night, when you're performing Old Lang Syne, what will be going through your mind, Ron?
I'm a bit of a softie. I don't know what my reaction will be. I mean, I know they're going to make a presentation, they've told me, to the band and to myself, and but when it comes to that reply, I don't know how I'm going to manage that, really, because I know now, talking to you, it's coming back now after all a lengthy period that I've been in, that I know that I've got to face up to that, but it's not a good thing to be looking forward to.
Yes. What would you like to say to all the thousands of people, mainly in Melbourne, that have known you and enjoyed your music over the years? Is there anything you'd like to say to them who will be watching this story?
I could only thank them for putting me and the band in the public eye and such, and held in high esteem, and the way that they've received us over the years, because they've followed us around and the people have wanted the same band year after year for their annual functions. Oh, that's a pretty difficult one to answer, Belinda. I don't know.
But it's meant a lot to you, hasn't it? Having the people there, the followers, and they've meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
Well, you've meant a lot to them, but they've also meant a lot to you.
That's what I say. I've been playing it across, and a small group of people. Charles Skerry, the person that wrote him, he's been one of them. And they got me to come to a function they put on for me, especially for my 90th birthday at the Hawthorne Town Hall. There was 540 people there. They come from everywhere, and people that had not been dancing to the band because of physical problems and so forth, or breakups in their home life. And they came up and shook hands, and I knew their faces. No way could I know their names, because there were too many people, thousands and thousands I would have met over the 74 years. Thousands. But, gee, that's not going to be easy next week.
No.
But that particular one at the Hawthorne Town Hall was wonderful.
Yes.
I would say it's the greatest day of my life, because I was shaking hands with so many people, and the boys of the band were playing, and at one time they come through the amplifier. Ron, where the hell are you? We're waiting for you to do the last number. I was performing with the band too,
Yes.
but I was to do with the fiddle, with the violin or fiddle, the last two numbers. And I'll never forget that one. That broke me up, because I stood on the stage playing through the mic, and I looked, and there's 500 people just standing there, just looking. That's what I can't take. I just butterfly in the stomach. I could, if you asked me to play now, the three of you, I'd get the butterflies in the stomach. Just three of you, after all the experience I've done. But 1,000 people in front of the stand dancing, I could play like nobody's business. But
I can
it's a funny
understand that.
thing.
Yes, it is a funny
But
thing.
on the other hand, I know that as far as that's concerned, you often find people, when they do a song or play a number on whatever instrument they're playing, it's got a feeling. You can sort of, I think even people that do not understand music so much can still feel the presence of what that person is doing. And that's what I think myself music is all about. But on the other hand, I think, well, in my case, I'm not using it as an excuse. I think because I get sort of stomachs, and I think it's because my feelings, possibly for music, and the way I treat it, is so deep. So I think it's got to affect you.
I think that's
Understand
very true. That's very true. And just one last question about music. How important is music in people's lives?
Well, I would say it's very important, and the reason I say that is when I was a vice president of the Musicians Union in Victoria here for 5 years, and at that time when I went as one of the Victorian delegates to Interstate Conference of the Musicians Union in Australia, I advocated and wanted to see music put in the school's curriculum as a subject, and I tried hard to get it through. And I couldn't get it through at that time. And if that had happened then, I think it would have made a big difference to the teenagers today. But it's in the schools today, but I mean, I've got my
Yes,
trombone.
that's right. But it is in schools. Can I ask you, without music in our lives, what would that be like? What's that like? Without music in someone's life?
Without someone's life.
No, without music in our lives, yes.
It would be terrible. Would be terrible. I think myself they'd have much more stress. I think they'd have much more health problems, because I think myself, what else could you sort of, there's no mechanical switch to switch off if you want to turn around and stop worrying. People say stop worrying. It's easy to say it, but it's not easy to carry it out. But if there's something really, I mean, let's face it, why in my days there was no such thing as counselling. But there's an accident now, and people rush to counsel people that've been involved in it. Now that's part of our lives now today, but that was never part of the lives of anybody from 50 years prior to that. So this is the thing why I say that music is a thing that would help a lot of people from the point of view of counselling, but unfortunately, most of the people in these accidents, they just are, well, spectators or customers, as I might call them, but not the people that participate in music or performing.
No. Look, thank you for talking to us. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Using up a lot of tape at the moment, I better come on.
No, you're right, in your own
Well,
time.
I think myself that more could be done. More could be done, I think. I'm not hitting out at anything. It's just a question, how could it be done? But I think myself that more could be done in Australia for live television and artists. And I think it's come to the fore now to prove that in one way. When we've had the likes of Hey Hey It's Saturday, when it went an hour over their prospective time. And in addition to that, they had all the old things that come on. And same as it's happened with the Mike Walsh show that was projected last night.
Yeah.
This is where I think myself that those things are not coming now. And what made worse is the dollar is affecting that. All right, the stations.
Now we're seeing it in our station. It's terrible.
Yes, I'd like to thank the people at the Children's Hospital and the people at the Fire Brigade, because after I retired from it, doing it, I had nice letters from them asking me to come back, and well, I did play sort of a, not that I wanted it, a role, because I was a leader and had the band and my own musicians were there. I had to organise all the musicians. There was 30-odd musicians would come every Christmas Day. They had to be organised into two groups. One group would top the 9th floor down to the 4th, and the rest would do from the 4th down to the ground. Otherwise we couldn't get through it in 2 hours. But I'd like to thank those people for their hospitality and the way they looked after us and invited us, made it worthwhile. But I do have a regret too. I think myself, although I've been a public model, not model, public, in the public eye all that time, I do feel a guilt that I personally, because of my ability and the sort of work that we have done with the music, that we didn't do more for charity. But just the time wouldn't allow it, because we were so busy ourselves. But, I can't say that I could give a message because it's too difficult.
And we'll be there on Saturday night.
Beginning a musical career at the age of 13, Ron Richards' first job was playing the violin in the days of the silent pictures. But then the talkies came in and he was out of work. By 16, Ron and his 6 brothers had formed a band of their own, performing at all the old dance halls in Melbourne. While the band members have changed, the leader has remained, playing every Wednesday and Saturday nights for the past 74 years.
I think I've lived for a long time. Just put it down to the music.
Music has been his life, the violin and saxophone, and now and then a song.
Whatever will be, will be.
But good times come to an end. Time to say good night.
I'd like to personally thank each and every one of you, because it's given me a wonderful life.
More than 300 people paid tribute to Ron's love of music. Among them, Margaret and Bill Bridges, who've rarely missed a Saturday night since they were married 45 years ago.
Well, we met here, we're dancing, of course. Never proposed here, it was after the dance that occurred.
Well, we've been dancing since about, what, 16?
Yes.
And that's how we met. And
you're still going.
that's 50 years.
Let's have all things on, would you, for my sake? Thank you very much.
Belinda Byrne, National 9 News.